Hello and welcome to the B Button, episode 31, and I'm your host Baron Marf. I'm joined as always by the legend himself, Angry Link. How you doing, buddy?
Trying to hold back a yawn.
Ooh.
Sudden. Yeah, not too bad though, other than being caught out with baring my teeth.
Yeah.
Other than that, not so bad.
Done any gaming this week? Any gaming at all, Link? Have you?
Yeah. Well, it's the same two really as last week. So Forza and
Destiny.
Yeah. Well, latter half of the week I've not been playing much. Been doing a bit more reading. Finally got through that book that I started reading last week. It started off as it was a tough old struggle to get through because it's all future genetic. Blah, blah, blah. Oh God, what's that? A nano rack? Okay.
Yeah.
So it was all a bit much on certain accounts, but got through it in the end. But yes, like I say, just been playing some Forza 3. Obviously there's still a mountain of things to do, but enjoying it. Obviously we had a Kane on multiplayer over the week, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was a bit flaky at times.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I did enjoy what was on offer. I thought it was quite well implemented, especially with the co-op stuff. That was good.
Yeah, I found it super flaky because I was always joining your game, so as a result of it, every time it kicked out, I was like, right, I'll just load back in. Come on.
It was, wasn't it? I started joining your game, so it'd follow sort of. Obviously, I've probably gone ahead of you on it in part, so.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to follow my storyline. Just wasn't going to happen, though, was it?
Yeah, no, and it just kept, like you say, dumping it, and but hopefully that sort of gets fixed and tweaked. And like you say, the inevitable updates and patches and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, back onto Destiny. Still the same old shiz with gear, sort of trying to chip up. I think I've managed to move up 2 points.
Right, okay.
In like the 2 weeks that I've been at 351.
Good work. I mean, fantastic work, really.
Yeah, but that's only just because I've been playing some Iron Banner. Obviously, that's running until Tuesday. Well, 9 o'clock AM, obviously UK time.
What level are you up to?
I think 3, something like that. So.
Chipping away.
Got to chip away, but again, next one will be back in November sometime. So.
The thing is with Iron Man, you just get so much stuff out of it.
It's totally worth doing it for that. I mean, I was talking to my cousin online yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, you can't be bothered to play PvP," and I was just like, "I know exactly what you mean."
But the goodies, the goodies.
Exactly, I've had loads of weapons out of it. I've had loads of stuff that keeps dropping at like 1 point lower or just on the money.
Good.
So it's this legendary engram stitch. This whole around 50% chance that it'll be better, but yeah, bollocks.
I mean, I'm not bitter about it. I'm not bitter at all.
No, but it's Destiny. I'm used to that by now.
Yeah.
So I was taking a bit more of a Zen-like approach with it and just enjoy the moments.
Yeah,
because it's good fun.
It's the way to do it.
But other than that, that's pretty much been it.
Fair enough.
Shitty little forgettable mobile games.
Yeah, I've had a couple of shitty forgettable mobile games, but nothing which. I'm really ashamed to say that I went back to Storage Hunters UK at one point. I'm not proud of it.
What, a game?
My name's Baron Marf and I have a problem. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I did that for a little bit, but mostly it's been Destiny for me as well. Yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Generic Destiny comments here, and Gears out of fucking nowhere. Gears of War 4.
Well, you was all ramping up for the actual official next week.
Yeah, that's right. I was thinking it was going to be Tuesday, and I could have that date completely wrong, but those who go for you've got money to spend, why don't you get the Deluxe Super Ultimate Ultra Edition? Get early access. So there I was, late night gaming on Thursday, and as soon as the hour turned, it went boom! Like, Gears of War 4's ready to play. I was like, holy shit balls, is it?
Gears of War 4.
Right on. And yeah, so Gears has ensued. Not massively though, because Destiny keeps pulling me back.
Yeah, it's those dailies and stuff, and like you say, the Iron Banner, you want to get that chipped up.
Iron Banner's there, you had Xur to sort out.
Yeah, so like you say, it's a whole. But we're talking about the problems that all of these games coming out as faces a bit late, aren't we?
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the things is we all know that GTA's done its bit, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, the biker update.
Splooshed its load.
I haven't even.
No,
I've updated it.
Yep.
And not even
played it.
Wanted to put it back on because it's one of those that I think this would be
once they've started.
It will be the biggest, most opportune time that I'll have of spending money on GTA Online, because it's just like, so much stuff to play. I haven't got the time to play all this, but I want a biker gang hideout.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
danger zone. Danger.
I think it might be a case of wait till Iron Banner finishes and then hit some GTA up.
Yeah. You've got to be able to pepper it into your Forza and.
Yeah, but Forza again, it's one I can pick up at any time and play. So yeah,
cool.
we'll see. We'll see this time next week.
Who knows? Right, let's shift on over to Bullet Bill's Big 3.
We best do.
Let's do this. Sorry about that. I just had to get that out of my system. It's the news. What we got for our first bullet hole, Link?
One thing that is tempting me to look into maybe a cheap Apple TV. Jade Empire is released on iOS this week. See, it's on Mac and all of your portable iDevices.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's released for $9.99. So I can assume with the current climate and exchange rates, that's £9.79. Obviously, I haven't got a proper price for
it's
for
about
UK.
£8.
Yeah,
$7.99. I think it is.
Oh, it's better than I thought it was going to be.
It's not too bad, yeah.
But yeah, so Jade Empire, fantastic game from before, obviously Mass Effect days. This is after BioWare had stunned the world with Knights of the Old Republic, and then their next game was a martial arts epic in the same vein. So it's your standard BioWare stuff, really. Yeah,
I'll throw my hands up. Played it through with a few characters.
Yeah, it was solid. It was one that I enjoyed going back and playing through again.
I think this is one of those games where, because for me back in the day when I played it, it wasn't like this massive title. It was something that I found and I played. I went, that's cool, and I really enjoyed it. I'm concerned that because it's so far back, don't revisit your childhood heroes. Because
that's true.
It may be a bit, dare I say it, jaded.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you've got to look at it in the point that any game that you've played, with the, as obviously exception of a few that still stand out, but any game from way back when is always going to slightly not be as good as you thought it had been.
Yeah.
But I think it's a case of I'd go into it knowing that it's going to be rough around the edges in certain parts, and there's going to be obviously things that have been done better now and since. But I still believe that it's been long enough since I've played it that it's definitely worth a revisit, and that's obviously why I think it's a great bit of news.
Well, finally, for those who, let's be honest, a lot of people have Apple phones or Apple products, you can now get a controller. I mean,
a decent like Xbox/PlayStation 4 looking thing.
Usually I chip in here and go, other controllers are available. I've tried other controllers and all of them have some sort of issue or fault, and I've always been like, I'm not playing video games on my mobile devices because I can't control them. SteelSeries came out with one. It's solid.
Haven't Apple as well implemented like
standardised
control scheme that developers can then tap into through Game Center or something like that?
I think
so. Controller mapping's easier or something like that.
There's always been something knocking around, but the problem is you get like 8 games which are compatible and then everything else isn't.
Yeah.
So what Apple have done, they've just basically supported SteelSeries by putting their controller on their website as an accessory, which kind of says this is the way that we would go if we were going to do it. And
they realised that. For what Apple are going to do, if they're going to make a controller, there really is. It's just no point because there's generally better, and most people will choose one that they're familiar with, i.e., an Xbox controller or a PlayStation 4.
Why not just get into bed with something like SteelSeries or Mad Cats or something like that?
Well, not Mad Cats, but anyone but Mad Cats. Yeah, exactly the point though, isn't it? It's that's solid. We'll follow you. That's a standard now. The 4 face buttons and the 4 triggers, but the 2 sticks is.
Let's be honest, this is not going to be on iOS for long. I'm sure it's going to make its way across to sort of, Android nation.
I would imagine so. obviously the iOS is always generally the first with these things because of the ease of use with the rigid, obviously, device limits.
Yeah.
So it's hopefully it does turn up on Android, because then a lot more people hopefully get a chance to enjoy it, because I thought it was a very, very, very good game at the time.
Yeah, at the time I did as well. I found myself looking at the video going, it's definitely one I'm going to think about. We'll find out whether next week I own it.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing, isn't it? That will stand the test of time.
Yeah. So, busting on to our second bullet hole for this week, Super Mario speedruns. There's been some movements recently.
There has.
We've
we saw an equaling of the record last week.
Yeah. So
due to a dropped frame.
Yeah. There's been. I mean, these guys are super hardcore players, speedrunners, aren't they?
Well,
they are.
I described them in a very politically incorrect way, which I'm not going to repeat on air.
But they are seriously focused individuals.
Oh yeah.
And you watched the. I mean, we were watching it. So the speedrun itself was always sitting around 5 minutes, and we watched it through, and it's just obviously a guy called Darbian, who's obviously sits there most nights hammering this game out, and he's got a clock on the screen. He even monitors his heart rate whilst he does it, and you can tell this video at the beginning of it. This is just like another
Let's have a go.
Yeah.
Attempt number XXXXXX.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you've got people who. There's a documentary, King of Kong, where
Well, it's obviously the high score, the battle between the two Donkey Kong high scores.
Yeah, exactly. And in that you see that they've got the arcade machine or something similar, and they're sitting there hammering it out, and they have to record it on video, and then they send it in. Well, nowadays people just stream it online and record it with a timer next to it.
Yeah, speedrunning's always been a somewhat not controversial, but very much I suppose you could say caustic, because from one end you get people that are like, oh, really great, that's amazing, and other people are like, no, it's bullshit. Yeah, it's bullshit. So obviously this is the lengths that now speedrunners go to, where they're putting heart rate up and all of this, and like having something at the background, like some news channel, so you can tell that it's live, and I don't know, it gets somewhat heated.
I just this guy was just casually having a go at it, wasn't he? And he'd set some pretty aggressive times a few days beforehand, which had sort of set the record and such like. But yeah, just knocked out this mental time of 4 minutes 56 8.828 of a second, and whammy, there it is. Just absolutely smashed it. You see this guy's reaction. You kind of follow. I mean, all the way through, we were watching it, and it, where he's just running at enemies, and he just knows they're going to move out of the way in time. There's one bit at the end of the level where he got to a bullet, and he just stopped, and we're like, "Come on, man, this is a speed run." He's like, "That's the bullet right there.
That's the shot."
Yeah.
And then as it goes past, and off he goes again.
Jumps on top of it. Uses it to jump on the.
How immensely casual it all was, though.
It's just day to day. That's what he does.
Like when you think of speed runs, obviously you're thinking of speed and running. I think someone like Usain Bolt, and you see when they're running. Well, I suppose you could say he almost did the same thing at the Beijing Olympics, wasn't it? Where he's just like, I'm going to sprint. Oh, wait, no, I'm really far ahead of everyone. I don't want to beat it too much.
Yeah. This is embarrassing.
I'll look back. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, my shoe's undone. So, yeah, there's almost that air of casualness about it, isn't it? And you're just like, you utter bastard.
Yeah. Fair play to the guy,
yeah. That's what playing like 15,000 rounds of Mario and trying to get your times down as fast as possible does.
So, Darbian, fair play to you. Well done, buddy.
Hopefully it doesn't get broken for a while, but no
challenge
doubt.
is set.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the gauntlet has been thrown down.
Beaten by, was it half a second? So,
which is a hell of a breaking of the record.
Well, the previous one was 0.2 of a second, so you can see the kind of jump back. Yeah, impressive stuff. So, Link, bullet hole number 3 for this week. What we got?
Well, this one is, I don't know, can't really say it's news because they announced this years and years ago.
Yeah,
but obviously, Beyond Good and Evil 2. It was announced back in, I think, 2008. So it's been a long old time. Released a little CGI trailer.
Bubbling
and
away.
Nothing's been said of it since, other than sort of doffs of caps and taps of noses and stuff
all
like that.
knowing nods.
Yeah, and wink. Yeah, is it in development? I can't say anything. Wink, wink. That kind of stuff.
Oh, and by the way, we've re-released Beyond Good and Evil on a HD copy. Oh, and if you forgot about it a year or so later,
we'll give it away free.
We'll give it away free. Yeah, just in case you forgot the IP.
Yeah. Well, Ubisoft obviously released a statement earlier in the week. Michael Ansel and Montpellier Studios have officially claimed to be working on the title.
Really?
Yes. Well, it's not. It was a Beyond Good and Evil title.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily due to it being a sequel. And obviously there's been little concept artwork being released by Michael Ansel throughout the week as well.
Right.
It's obviously featuring a young piglet on the man's shoulder and stuff like this. So yeah, it could be a different angle on the story or the world itself.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's probably looking at the way of it. But who knows? So it's obviously cryptic concept art, which can generally just be an allusion to anything.
Did you play Beyond Good and Evil?
I didn't. Well, I never gave it any time. I think it was a case of, alright, they've got this free, or I think it might have been, I might have even bought it because it was really cheap.
Yeah, I did that. It was cheap, I bought it.
And I think I put it on for like 5-10 minutes and had to go out and do something, or something else was out at the time, so I started playing that.
Did exactly the same thing.
But yeah, I mean, it was very, very well received. It's got a massive cult following.
Huge cult following. Surprised actually, it's almost like a sort of Tim Schafer-esque kind of cult following.
Yeah. Well, there's been that inevitable of any game that takes an action RPG kind of look to Zelda. Like obviously Darksiders, that was instantly Zelda, but with death and the four apocalypse horsemen and all of that. So yeah, I don't know. I love those kind of games, so it's definitely worth one looking into and seeing if maybe the IP could trigger another follower. So,
probably a movie as well.
Well, Ubisoft have set up a studio though.
Yeah.
And it could make a good animated film.
Well, Gears is going to the movies.
Well,
so
we did hear actually, yeah.
Universal
have signed the. Obviously, they bought the option for the rights to Gears War movie, so we could see another one of those, and then we can use our amazing pun that probably a lot of other people have used, and Gears of War when it inevitably tanks and it's awful because it's just like
a shitty tie-in movie.
It's just 3 like where's your neck people they pulled out of the ground and put big rifles on.
Come on, man! Led by Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, if he's not in it, I'll be very, very surprised.
Be gutted.
He's the Coltrane all over, isn't it?
Coltrane loves that whole grain, baby. Woo. Right, okay, let's bust on over to our beef.
Yes.
It's beefy time, baby, with What's the Beef Chief. And this week, we've got some beef going on with Xbox.
Yes. Yeah, because we were going to try and be unbiased and fair, and we've done a bit of actual research.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's literally a bit.
Yeah,
a quick cursory Google search. Yeah. But, you know, we ain't got people to pay for that shit, so I can't be bothered to do it myself.
Yeah, I mean, this has naturally just popped up because... so, the way I used to use my Xbox 360 is I had one of those Bluetooth headsets.
Yep.
And I'd pop it over my ear, and I'd have a party started pretty much the second I walked through the door, and just could spend the evening both chatting with my friends, chatting with my missus.
Keeping things aware around you.
Yeah.
And you can involve yourself into environments.
Yep, and I lived on the 360 because of it. It was on all the time. I'd hear about parties going on where games, some sort of like raid or something, so I'd get involved, I'd jump in and out, and it was just a nice way to open my social environment further.
Well, it's basically being sociable for lazy bastards.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing, I love it. Or sociability for antisocial bastards is a better way to put it. Yeah, I was the same, because obviously as life we're both advancing in years. So we're not young spring chickens, and the desire to go out and get plastered and socialise with people that way is getting less appealing for me as I grow older, because you just see all of your wasted years just ahead of you then, or stood in front of you.
As I always say, fuck them. But Generally, it's something I enjoyed doing quite a lot. So I thought, okay, let's do that for the Xbox One. Wait, I can't find a headset. Why can't I find a headset? No, seriously, why can't I find a headset? There doesn't appear to be any headset. Link, why are there no fucking Bluetooth headsets for the Xbox One?
Well, this was an executive decision taken by someone on either maybe the engineering team.
Right.
Or maybe I'm thinking the accounting team.
That's more like it.
Yeah, so it seems that the Xbox One itself isn't technically possible to connect a Bluetooth controller.
Well, you...
Bluetooth headset. Because it hasn't got Bluetooth.
Ah, that will be the main reason then.
Yeah.
My Nokia phone from like pre the release of iPhones.
Yeah.
That's how long ago we're talking.
Yeah.
Had Bluetooth on it for years, and it's a standard form of wireless connection for. I mean, I don't mean to geek out on this shit, but what makes Bluetooth work so well in every environment is it changes frequency every 16th of a second. So no matter what, you are never ever
as long as the frequency is wide enough.
Yeah, but
you can accommodate an awful lot of it.
Exactly that, and yet somehow they don't think it's needed in the console, even though Sony have been rocking this shit for years.
Well, the PS3 was amazing because you could just buy a Bluetooth headset. You could go down to Asda or any department store, any shop, and buy the cheapest, nastiest Bluetooth headset, and you could party chat.
Yeah.
It wasn't brilliant, and they were cheap and nasty, but you could still have a £5 option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
So, and it was just a case of, all right, I need to connect this pair. Done. I can rename it and everything, so I can even rename it cheap £5 headset.
Yeah.
So you know which one, because I ended up inevitably with like 3 or 4 because they were Bluetooth headsets and stuff. Like, because my sister-in-law was doing driving jobs and stuff, she needed Bluetooth earpieces, and she'd inevitably buy one, use it for 3 weeks because it's all been gamming her ear. They won't take it back. So it's just like, great, I'll take it off your hands. Yeah, whatever. Try
or if you've got a loaner one and she connects it to computer and finds out you've named it Ear Dildo 3 or something like that.
Huh.
Get it bad. But yeah, I mean, so like generally this is somebody at Xbox basically went, we don't need that in there. Now for me, I wanted to use it in such a way that I could speak to the people online. I've still got my 5.1 from my TV doing all the surround sound shit.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that. I know I've got one ear covered over, but it's not like it's hermetically sealed and airtight,
No, that's it.
So that's how I kind of like doing it. Now I've got to be strapped to a controller, or you can buy a wireless one and change the batteries every 4 hours or whatever you need to do.
The thing is with the Xbox ones, the ear buckets ones, it can do wireless audio, but not wireless party chat. So if you want a party chat, you've still got to plug it into the Xbox controller.
So basically, here's some of your sound, but you can't have all of your sound. If you want all of your sound, plug it in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're still connected to your controller. And that's the thing that annoys me, because cable technology is never going to change in the sense that it'll always tangle, it'll always get fucking caught up in something. The amount of times that I've got a cable wrapped around an analogue, to name but a few, I've nearly ripped out the cable from the ear, like from the headphone itself, because of stuff like that.
In the original Xbox, on the controllers, they had a cable break. So you had the bit which plugged into the console, and as you went further down the cable, you had another bit which was just ready to break. So the second somebody tripped over it, because they knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, because you didn't want your Xbox flying out from under the TV, because let's be fair, that thing was a mobile weapon when it
was a sledge of boxes, wasn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Surely, I feel like there needs to be people screaming at Microsoft to kind of say, "Come on, guys." I mean, I used to have 2 headsets, and one would be on charge. Battery dies on one, swap over to the other one. That's some good business for them. Surely they want this business. And I think it's something to do with the fact that, do you remember how you can't blend a 360 party with an Xbox One party?
Yeah.
And I think it's something to do with how they encode the audio. and I think it makes them non-compatible. I just get that feeling. There's nothing backing this up. I'm just getting agitated, and I'm making wild speculation,
rash decisions, and rash assumptions.
And I put my name by it, but for some reason, I mean, you can emulate your 360 on your Xbox One and do a 360 party, but it's still encoding it in that way. But I think that's why they don't, or one of the reasons why they can't blend it. And I also think it's one of the reasons why they're not comfortable supporting single microphone audio in just one headset piece.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm shaking my fist at this end. Look at me, Link. Look at me shake it.
I mean, I have seen there is a couple of that looks very similar to the old 360 wireless ones, but again they're still wired.
Yeah.
So you can still get stuff that's similar, but it's that same old problem. Where's the wireless? I mean, even if it's a case of yes, it has to connect to a controller. I mean, we was talking about this last week when we were chatting about obviously getting this all set up. I wrote some notes down then, and I've got one of the first things is fine. Make me buy an adapter or a controller.
Yep.
Fine. Like the new Xbox S controller, it's got Bluetooth in it.
Yeah.
So it can then connect to a laptop. Or
That's because they finally admitted that they needed it. That's why. So
I mean, even if it's a case of you've got the little stereo adapter, the little adapter you get when you buy the stereo headphones
for the audio jack. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why don't you just make me buy one of them? And it's just a little Bluetooth receiver.
But it's this thing, isn't it? It's people going, you don't need a 3.5mm audio jack anymore. Don't worry. We've got rid of it, and we put some proprietary shit in there which we can charge you for the first 3 months until the third party people come up with their own cheaper versions.
Little break.
Hurrah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But then they go, actually, no, we needed it. And we're watching Apple do that with their phone at the moment. Well, you don't need a 3.5mm audio jack.
But just in case you want it, here's the little free
cable dongle
thing. But hopefully it breaks and we can charge you $18 for.
Good price.
Yeah. Fair price. Yeah, it's that same old story, isn't it? It just almost feels like you're being led round by your fucking wallet.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I mean, I get that there's maybe technical limitations, but there's some smart people that work at these companies. There's people that have made their own that aren't probably that smart. I mean, we were watching some guy leaked, was it an official Sony Bluetooth headset to his Xbox One controller because he had to fucking mod and fiddle about with just one of these little headsets and put a Bluetooth fucking receiver in it.
So the adapter that you get with those cupped headphones, the official ones, the £20 if you want to, pounds if you want to buy it separately, he basically had to go in, cut this bit of plastic apart, solder in a new chip, solder in a button, solder in an LED, fit it to that, and then suddenly he could connect a Bluetooth headset to his. So he could do it, and obviously so could Microsoft. But it's just the fact that
they don't exactly.
Ugh, motherfuckers! What's going on?
I mean, it just gives people some freedom from their controllers, because I like the idea that, I mean, when you're playing, say someone's at the door, you don't have to take your headphones off, put your thing down, move that, trip over that fucking wire, blah blah blah. You just put the controller down, get up, go right out of the room, open the door.
But it's still little things like that, like being able to just press a button on the side of your head to mute something or turn up the volume, turn it, rather than having to worry about, am I on my controller, what am I doing?
Well, I mean, Panasonic's always had massive frustrations with that. It's hilarious. Like, you're wearing your head buckets, aren't you, Batman?
Yeah.
And then it's the inevitable sort of cue the sort of rage out when he can't get his levels right.
And there's some things like we've got a guy we play with. He's just notorious for it's just the headset he's got, but you can always hear the wire just going dum 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 down the headset. And also, Panasonic is notorious for dipping his microphone in beans and tea and all sorts of shit.
It's the minging mic boom.
There's a lot of shit which goes on, and foam that's gone years ago. So, but yeah, I mean, sort it out. Just sort it out, Xbox. It's not right. It's just not right.
No. So we need to get some wireless ones, but then we need the single ear ones as well, because there's not really that many on the market.
Yeah,
I think
there's many for the Xbox.
There's
none.
There's I think Turtle Beach do an XO for the Xbox One. It's probably about $30.
That I looked into that and I was like, oh, cool, because I recognise it. But yeah.
Obviously, you've got the official Xbox cheapy nasty one, which is $20 or 20 quids. And then I think there was another company, I think it was Polk, that did this little in-ear thing, but again, it was wired. So I think the solution to that is don't take the piss with the price. Well, we've seen with the Elite controller that you can, but as long as it's a good quality product. I mean, people will pay hundreds and hundreds of pounds for a good set of gaming headphones.
Or average ones if they're Apple.
Yeah. But where, again, like you say, where's the ones that just, I want a good headset?
Yeah.
For just being sociable, because I've got a great sound system that I don't need it for. And I still want to be able to hear what's going on around me in case, there's like a fire going on or something. And yeah, great. Yeah, I'm blasting up this raid, great, but oh wait, I'm now trapped and 30 seconds later I'm dead. Like it would be the most ironic, well not ironic, but it would be the same, what would happen. You'd start coughing and stuff like spluttering, but for fuck's sake, if you're going into a coughing fit, can you put yourself on mute, you cheeky bastard? Everyone mutes you because you're just making a complete noise.
Yeah.
And that's what I just don't like about the stereo headsets.
The other thing is you listen to people. We used to play a game which was when someone put the controller down on their glass table, and because of the headset you can hear it's connected to it.
Yeah.
You like crash into their character and it does.
We were doing that on Grand Theft, wasn't it?
Yeah,
just go with.
Objective is to get their controller to go dive off the table and into their carpet. Yeah, it's amazing. Cool.
It was good fun.
Cool.
So, I think to round it up, Xbox, it's no bueno at all. They need to sort that out. I think, like say, even a cheeky little adapter, a new controller, because for fuck's sake, you've got the new Bluetooth-esque controllers. That needs to change. PlayStation, it's not as bad. You can actually you've got an official wireless headset. But again, no one-ear jobbies. That's all wired stuff. But again, it's not difficult. It can be done. It's just nobody has. It's just poor efforts all round, I think.
Xbox, that dog won't hunt, Monsignor. That dog won't hunt, and I don't know why.
Again, it's just more money to people to throw at them.
They're nuts. Cool, okay, let's move on over to our Uncharted territory.
Yeah, talking a bit brighter subject.
Yes.
Stuff that we can actually enjoy.
Let's go. Uncharted territory, baby. We're going to have a little ramble around the gaming gear. Work out what's going down. A lot coming up. Is there? Isn't there, Link? That's the question of the day.
Well, we've often bemoaned the lack of games in the summer.
Yeah.
Obviously, we always say it's always geared towards this end of the year because we're now falling into the golden quarter, aren't we?
The golden quarter.
Where obviously all the money is spent and nobody ever spends.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd have a look at see what's coming up, see what's actually going to take up our time, and see if it's actually just one of these silly marketing things or if it's actually true.
Well, there's little games. I'll say little games. Sorry, not massively marketed games which are bubbling in the horizon. One of the ones you gave me was Exist Archive.
Yes, well, this is something I'd never even heard of. So yeah, there is obviously with the amount of game developers there are nowadays, there is always loads coming out. No matter what time of year, there's a steady stream of games weekly. But yeah, like you said, big AAA titles. So we're sort of focusing more on those because I think that the indie stuff they just sneak out, don't they? They're like silent but deadly farts.
But why do those flaccid farts come out at this time of year? I mean, like one of the ones I know you're particularly interested in, Sword Art Online. Why bring it out now?
I think
in the golden quarter.
Well, I think that's got a massive fan base. So that no matter what time of year that releases, it's going to get the sales it's going to get.
But they are battling against the likes of Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Yeah, they are. But I mean, predominantly most of the people that are buying these games have got disposable income to go, do you know what, I'll not go out for that night, I'll just get that game instead.
But I mean, what about you? Will you be getting Sword Art Online?
Well, this is the thing, I'm very tempted. So this is one that I didn't even think and contemplate. Obviously, I know they've had a few games on the Vita, but I'm not interested in getting a hold of a Vita. But it's on the PS4, so
okay.
could be tempted. So it's something that would be definitely worth having a look at. Maybe some streams or some sort of let's play videos to see how it rolls.
Yeah, and there's a whole Sony camp to talk about in due course of things coming out. But I mean, for me, I found that a lot of the games which I want to play have just come out or are out. We've talked obviously about Forza.
Yeah.
Big game. Destiny is just ongoing. GTA's just had a big update. We've had a very surprise launch for me anyway of Gears of War 4. That's just that's like a year's worth of gaming in that game in itself.
Yeah, totally.
But Gears isn't doing it a great deal for you, is it? I mean, I know you've touched on the other ones, but you're not that excited about it.
No, it's something that somebody else has wanted. Like whenever I've played it, it's something that somebody else has wanted to play. So it's just like, stick the co-op on. Let's just go through, stomp some locusts. It's like, I'll quite happily chew through the campaign, but I've never been interested in the horde mode or any of the multiplayer. It's just not one that really tickles my pickle.
Not my bag, baby.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not my bag. For me, couple of little. I still like to keep my toe dipped into the Nintendo campus occasionally.
I think you've got to really, haven't you? There's always that sort of inevitable charm and mischief and fun to be had from Nintendo games.
We were talking about this earlier on, so picked up a couple of Mario titles very recently, and Mario Party Star Rush.
Well, I think that in itself is self-explanatory, really, isn't it? It's a Mario Party game, but on the go.
Yeah, and also doesn't have the waiting around for the rolls.
I think that was just that single mode, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just love the idea of it. Being able to cane through it quickly.
It's probably worth playing it for just that mode.
Yeah. Paper Mario Color Splash.
Yeah.
So
a Wii U game.
Yeah.
By Nintendo.
Which will be amazing. You just know it will be. We were looking at the artwork earlier on, and we were saying how cool they've sort of baked in CG rendered graphics into sort of a flat 2D image as well.
Well, it's a built 3D image in a diorama, and it's really cool looking, charming game. And
we were saying like how things like how they develop the character in a different way. So a lot of people go, right, we're going to go 3D and 1080p at 60 frames per second, make the super slick graphics, and then Nintendo like, let's make it a paper version, a more dumbed down version, and give me little cute boots and little.
I love the idea though that they obviously it started on the 64.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you had the limitations then of the console. So a great way to get around that limitation was to design the levels like they are. So they are very angular and very box-like. Like they've been built out of cardboard and paper, because it would be.
Yeah.
You can't get a perfect circle to make it build a perfect circle out of one bit of paper is very, very hard, or a tube, should I say, a cylinder. So it was all very angular, and it played up perfectly with the lack of polygons that you could have at those times with the consoles. But they've never detracted away from that, because of that had its charm, and that was its draw. And how it looked and played, and obviously with certain various other ones like the 1,000-Year Door and stuff, where you've got different gameplay mechanics where you can turn sideways, and it's opened up really wonderful new, fresh ideas for the title.
It's always amazing how they reimagine the universe in so many times over. And some of the most inventive ideas in gaming.
Yeah. Look at Mario as well as another one, isn't it? Just obviously Mario Sunshine.
Yeah.
And then Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, amazing. Just
brilliant games.
What about things such as Dead Rising 4? I mean, is this doing it for you at all? Still before Christmas? If there is a game, excuse me cutting it, but if there is a game which has got to hit its release date,
that is
it's a Christmas video game.
It can slip a week. It has to release before Christmas.
Yeah.
No two ways about it. It's something that I'd quite happily play, but it's not something I'm going to rush out to buy.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's just the kind of game that I've always struggled with the structure of the game itself in terms of, especially the first two, where you've got very set limitations on time, and you've got to get this done and that done. And
it's always bugged me as well, that thing. I want to spend as long as I want in a game world. I don't want to have a clock count me down. But what I would say is that because it's got a device which I particularly dislike, they do a bloody good job of making me enjoy it. So fair play to
hands down, it's a great fun game to play. I mean, obviously my memories are from the first one. You get the old rotivator and the piling machine.
Yeah.
And you're using zombies as extra sort of damage incentive and kicking shit out of other zombies with a zombie.
Yeah.
And it's just little things like being able to put the Lego heads on them, or not Lego heads, but plastic toy figure.
Blanca heads.
Blanca heads,
like
yeah,
as well,
exactly, yeah. So they are great, fun, enjoyable games, and obviously they've really ramped it up with some of what we've seen with like the mech suits and the crafting stuff. So it does look good fun.
The point where you take a steamroller and you mix it with a large motorbike and you just like caning through streets of zombies. Yeah.
Exactly. It says it already, isn't it? I think Dead Rising's now got its own aura and presence that people know what they're going to get.
It's amazing how quickly you become desensitized to mass genocidal gore. But anyway, Titanfall 2.
Couldn't give a shit.
Really?
No.
Is it because the first one didn't do much for you? I mean,
I'm a disliker of like multiplayer only games.
So this has got storyline this time.
It has, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'm probably doing it a disservice by writing it off so quickly. But again, it's one of those ones that if I might borrow a copy of someone and play it for a weekend. And I think that one of these kind of games that I could play it for a day or two and be like, that's enough.
Do you know
fine
what?
With that.
By the fact that, I mean, I get the vibe that you've probably, and I haven't seen any of the campaign. I know there is probably some campaign footage out there, but I haven't seen much.
No, to be fair, I haven't either.
And the fact that you've not gone to look for it says a lot about how interesting it is to you. So
yeah.
Titanfall 2 for me is one of those which, if I'm in a week where I've been playing some stuff, I've got a bit bored of it, and it pops up, if it drops at just the opportune moment.
Well, it'll be a couple of weeks after Battlefront,
yeah.
Battlefield even.
So the answer is no, probably.
No, so
at that point.
Yeah, that's obviously the end of October, isn't it? 28th, that one drops.
Now this next one I find really it's a biggie. I don't think it's as big in our camp of gamers as it is in many others. But it is a biggie, and I particularly like the way that every person I speak to about it phrases it in this order, even though it's not how it's pitched. Modern Warfare
Remastered.
And Infinite Warfare.
Yeah.
So people are obviously interested in Modern Warfare more than Infinite.
Well, do you know what my summing up? Obviously we sort of tried to sum it up in one or two words. All I want is the remaster. Yeah. I could not give a shit about Infinite Warfare. I mean, again, to be fair, what I saw on the PlayStation experience thing that they did when they announced the Pro.
Yeah, when they were trying to show off how good it looked at
But
HDR.
Unless you've got a 4K TV, then you're not going to see how much better it looks.
And the people who saw it just said it looks a bit like a high-end PC version.
Yeah. Which is what it always will do. But I don't know, it's intriguing, but I just don't want to pay £80 for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested in it, but they've sold out now to Sony, haven't they? Opposed to selling out to Xbox. So this time it's like 1 month's grace of being able to play it before.
Yeah. So there's obviously the inevitable crap division tie-ins with
it's willy waving time, isn't it? Yeah. Oh dear. What about Friday the 13th?
Well, this is something I'm interested in. I think it's something that I wouldn't buy day one. But I'd definitely be interested in checking out a few videos and some gameplay online.
When it gets to like 2.5 months later and it's like £22 somewhere.
Yeah, there's something. Well, if they don't do a special Halloween, it's just one day only Halloween buyer, then they're fucking mad. Because I think you'll get people that would buy it just for that night.
For that experience, yeah.
Just to play it that night and then not play ever again.
You know, this, I think it sums it up perfectly when we were talking about this earlier on. I said, I'm only interested in playing this game if I play as Jason.
Do you know what would be interesting? I think the only other interesting way that I can think of playing it is having a proper dedicated LAN party. I mean, for people that don't know, there's sort of certain years, a LAN party is where everybody gets their computers together and all sit in a room and they connect all their computers up.
Hardwire
it, but it's obviously everything's done there, so you're not having to connect to the internet. But having one person as Jason in a room on their own, and then say the other 6 or 7 people all in the same room, so they're all shitting themselves, and you just know when people are getting picked off one by one, and you're that lone person just sat there, just like, oh no, he's going to get me.
I know we said it before, but the one thing I love the most about this is that, and especially with our group of mates, who's like, right guys, we've got a plan. It's all going to be perfect. The second he walks through that door, he's
Everyone
dead.
for themselves.
And then then he comes through the window, and everyone's like, fuck this, I'm out. And then the whole plan goes to pot, and there's some guy who's upstairs in the toilet thinking, hope he doesn't hear me because I can't get out of here.
No. There'll be that one person sort of comes in. What happened to the plan? Axe in the face.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, interesting stuff.
It would be, yeah. I think it's definitely one that will create some good bit of comedy.
So, on a bit more of a tangent now, Mark McMorrish.
Mark McMorrish, indeed.
Infinite Air. So this is snowboarding, isn't it?
It is. It's made by the people that did the Golf Club. Released about, I think, 18 months ago on the Xbox One.
Right.
It's a golf game. Obviously, Rory McIlroy hadn't been out at that time. You could create your own courses, so to get around not having official licensed courses.
Yeah, Rory McIlroy tanked though, so
yeah.
hopefully the club didn't.
It was a solid game. I did pick it up because it was really cheap one day, so I was just like, yeah, go on in. I've got a golf game now.
I've got it. I don't think I've yet played it.
I think I've played it 3 or 4 times. I've got a few achievements on it, so I have got some achievements.
Right on.
But it's made by the same studio, and it's got very much the same concept of a customizable mountain.
Right.
But yeah, you can create all your own little bits and bobs and ramps and hills and
Do you
forests.
think when Steep got announced, they were just like, shit?
Yeah, a bit, I think.
Because Steep's a contender for me.
Yeah.
I picked up the game box today and I was like, ooh.
Because he was like, wait a minute, that's not supposed to be out now.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he's pre-order. He's like,
feverishly clawing at it like.
But yes, so that is one that's out in a few weeks. So it's definitely one that I'd be interested in having a bit more of a peruse at. So that could be an early contender that I could get a couple of months in before Steep's out.
Yeah, that'll Steep though. Because you're not going to buy both, really, though, are you? Really?
Probably not.
No, I didn't think
but,
so.
If it's solid, you can fly around a helicopter in it.
Right on.
So he's got that one up over on Steep, I think. I mean, yeah, you've got your wingsuit, but I've got a helicopter.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fly into a mountain in this.
Talk about flying into mountains if done at the correct speed. Road rage.
Yes.
Does this?
I think that's one of those ones that it'd be if it's cheap in a sale, definitely be one picking up.
I love Road Rash. Yeah. I love the whole kicking out somebody's bike and watching them just pile up at 90 mile an hour.
One thing I will say though, obviously bikers update.
Yeah.
And you can now do melee off the bike.
Yeah.
So you kind of don't need it.
No.
You just go in GTA and you're like, great, amazing, I've got my bike that I really love. And
it's road rage, baby.
yeah.
It's just what
and
I'm
I've got no
for.
arms.
Yeah. I've got hands. That's all I need. Yeah.
That's it, mate. Rayman in it up.
Yeah, it's the way forward. It is a bit Raymanish, actually. What about something like Final Fantasy 15?
I've never been a fan of the Final Fantasy games. I've never played one. I've never even... I think I've sat round someone's house when they were playing Final Fantasy 7 and just finding something else to do.
So, lots of people go on like, oh my god, Final Fantasy 15 is coming out. For me, I played all the way through Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it for what it was, and I enjoyed it as being sort of the pinnacle of video game and Japanese cultured storytelling in one game, and I was happy with that. And then anything which took it further than that, I really didn't care about, because it was so invested in such a complete story arc. I was like, I just don't need any more.
Yeah, it was one of those. It's that perfect amount of time. Everything's wraps or doesn't wrap, but it leaves you with enough questions to keep it interesting. But it gives you enough answers to keep you satisfied.
Not enough to pull me back. I'm done, sort of thing. And ever since then, I just. I kind of like my RPGs to. If you're going to play it, have it turn based, like it always is. Just give me some ridiculous summons, give me some basic magic, and I don't want all these like critical counterbalance times 10. Like
it's trying to be an action. It was an action RPG now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is exactly that, and it just doesn't do it for me.
And again, I kind of think that it's lost its heart and soul from it being a Final Fantasy, because it's always been that counter turn based, hasn't it?
Well, hopefully something which has lost its soul in its next iteration. Watch Dogs 2.
From what I've read, though, it seems to be they've actually tried to make it fun.
We did go me. I definitely bitched about Watch Dogs 1. I was like, fuck you, Watch Dogs 2. There's no way I'm getting hold of that game. I made that mistake last time. I'm not paying shit for it, blah, blah, blah. And then since then, we've started to watch some of the videos which are coming out. It doesn't look bad.
I mean, to be fair to Watch Dogs, to be fair to Ubisoft, the only game that they've got coming out, which isn't going to be out till next year, 2 games. Obviously, it's not going to be coming out till next year now, which we would have talked about in this list. Would have been obviously Factory But Whole. And Ghost Recon Wildlands. Because obviously saw a video of this sort of like doing a more stealthier up take on the E3 mission. And it looks so much good. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just you got one guy sneaking around, another guy's sniping, they have his drone picking out guys, fucking highlighting some people. Another guy's gone off to go set up some C4, rig the generator. Looks awesome. Really good fun.
Cool.
But that's obviously not actually next year, so it's
that's truly uncharted territory.
It is, yeah. It's obviously gone off a bit off topic, but yeah, Watch Dogs 2, I'm a bit meh. I'm sure.
I want to see more on it. I'm happy to watch a bit more on it.
Yeah.
What about Walking Dead? Got some new episodic content coming out.
Obviously, yeah, the 3rd season, isn't it? I started playing the 1st season on the 360.
That says it all. I
never finished
the first season
because I think again the same old problems. If something else comes out that everybody's playing and you kind of want to get in on it because you got a bit sheeple.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've never gone back to it. But they are solid games. I mean, I've always all of the Telltale stuff I have played has always been really good. And again, what episodes I had played, I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I mean, it might be worth sort of looking into.
But surely you got to play through the rest of it.
Oh yeah, no, I was going to say I'd have to revisit season 1 again and probably pick up season 2.
I'm looking forward to the next section of the Batman Telltale.
Because is it episode 2 out? Was it recently? And obviously, so do you know when episode 3's due? Don't
know, but it's something I'm now going for that. I'm not playing them until they're all out and just smashing through it.
That's the only way I would, because I mean I saw it being retailed actually in a physical box, and I was like, that's sneaky, because you were implying that you can still
you got it all there,
but they don't tell you that you're going to need to download them.
Dirty.
That is dirty, but we digress.
Okay, so not the final one of our section, but the final one which I'm particularly interested in this section, Dishonored 2. Yeah,
well, again, I think you've talked about your love for it before. Obviously, I've had a good little, I suppose, few hours on the first one.
But I find it really stylish.
Yeah, it's a really good game. I just couldn't really get into it. I think that's the kind of game that I'd really love to be multiplayer, sort of a co-op, if you could have like a little crew of 2 or 3 of you.
So I think it's very similar to the same sort of ilk as Thief. You're either into it or you're not, sort of thing.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, really looking forward to that. What about Battlefield 1?
I'm a bit meh. Yeah, I'm like that with most first-person shooters. To be fair to Battlefield, though,
it's gone back to a bit of a World War One.
Yeah, well, obviously it's gone. Thankfully, it's gone backwards, not forwards to a stupid extent.
They're running out of ideas of what the future looks like now.
Yeah, well, as much as people have been given Infinite Warfare shit, I admire them the fact that they've gone, fuck it, let's go to space. Should have done it years and years ago, as opposed to going for fucking Infinite War, or what was the last one? Ghost, no, the one before that.
Ghost Infinite something.
I don't know, but it was like, we'll go to the future again, and then we'll go a bit further to the future, and then Black Ops copies and goes into the future, and it all just basically is like,
we're all in the future.
We're going to flood it with Titanfall-esque sort of gameplay, so nobody will want to play Titanfall.
Look, Titanfall came out, it was like Red Bull, and everyone's like, I need me some of that shit.
Everyone's got some of the Kool-Aid.
Steroid hyped up on future shit, and now everyone's on that massive come down of like, can I just go back to World War One for a second, please?
So many people I know have been crying out for Call of Duty to go back. I mean, even if you just fucking remade 1, just bring those first 3 back, the fucking first trilogy, because they were unbelievable.
Yep.
And I think Modern Warfare was the peak, and then it kind of tumbled down from there. As soon as Activision bought
Cash Division, baby.
Yeah.
Woo!
Well,
Woo!
I think the only company that stood the test of time with their sort of, well, it would have been a merger because it's Blizzard Activision. Their name's on the fucking company name.
God damn it.
So that says it all for them.
So, I guess that's kind of where we're at currently. But with regards to new platforms, new horizons, for me, it's a little bit of a refresh on the Sony front. PS4 Pro coming up, exciting times. I know it's not going to make a huge amount of difference to me considering my current TV isn't supportive of HDR, 4K, but everything in due course. But there's also, I mean, what was it? VR's coming out imminently.
3-4 days away.
There's some VR games which are, I mean, sadly the only thing out of the VR stuff which interested me personally, and you mentioned something that I went, ooh, afterwards, but we'll get to that in a bit, was the Batman Arkham sort of VR experience.
VR detective thing, wasn't it?
And what I've seen of it so far is it's just you in Batman's environment with your hands that you can move. There's no combat fighting people. You've got batarangs which doesn't miss. It's all just a bit... I mean, the point where I saw a clip of somebody wearing the headset with the controllers and they're looking in through the headset in a virtual mirror of themselves as Batman, and they're doing some sort of like dun 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 dun
conga line sort of move.
I was like, no, this is not Batman.
It's ruining Batman. Stop being a douchebag.
Stop ruining Batman
for me. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a lot of the VR stuff for the moment. I mean, it's the same way with motion controls, that the best example of motion controls and the most enjoyable example of motion controls, obviously when the Wii come out, was Wii Sports. Like all of the other games, you could just like, well, I don't need motion controls, I could play it with a controller, probably easier and it'd be more enjoyable, and I wouldn't be waggling my hand around like a dick.
Well,
so yeah, I think it's got very much that air of it.
Around like a hand, yeah.
So I think give it 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, what we were watching was some reviews and unboxings of VR earlier, weren't we? And they were saying that there's some great experiences, but it's very much short little pockets of tech demos and just showing you what's capable.
Underwater cage with sharks and shit
that's
like that.
it. I think it's going to be a lot of that for the first few months.
What about the Battlefront VR?
Yes, the VR X-Wing mission. Literally the only thing that I'd be interested in VR trying that out. Well, as I've written in my notes, I'm eager to learn more.
Ooh.
But I think the biggest problem with a lot of the stuff that's coming out for VR, it's very much either previous games that could be shoehorned into VR and work well with it, or it's just a small little tacked on bit for an existing franchise. Obviously, don't get me wrong, you've got stuff like Rigs, there's the Assembly from End Dreams, there's a few standalone experiences, but I don't know. I think VR's obviously, it's that very early infancy stage that's going to be a hard sell for me.
So to put a not so much a final thought, but a little pebble into the pool of ideas. Your PS4 bound imminently. What's the end of the year looking like for you?
Well, when I was compiling this list and going through the things, it wasn't looking too great. I mean, obviously we've gone through some real big hitters, and I'm pretty much like a meh.
Yeah.
If someone gave it to me for free, I'd probably play it.
Gentleman and
maybe. I don't know. Might not.
Yeah.
But then, again, I forgot about the PlayStation 4. So obviously the things that I know I'm going to be playing, obviously Destiny, Forza Horizon, they're going to take up a good chunk. But then obviously I've got Pro Evo, which I've still got to pick up. No Man's Sky, obviously regardless of the reviews and all of the shit it's getting, I need to play that a lot. I just want to get out there and just have a look.
I need to get this out of my system.
Yeah, basically.
Or out of any system.
But then looking through, there was a couple of old school sort of JRPGs. Obviously Sword Art Online we were talking about a bit earlier.
Yeah,
It's a massive fan base. I really enjoyed the anime. Still haven't got any of the books because I think there's quite a few of them and that's going to be expensive. I want to start getting into that. But there was Exist Archive, which is again an old school 2D JRPG.
Yeah. It's mentioned.
So it's definitely one looking into.
Yeah.
So obviously there is in fact more games than I thought about. So I might not have very much time for anything else other than gaming. Which isn't a bad thing to be, but it's not as expensive as I thought it was going to be. That's my final point I would say on it.
Lots of gaming coming up. It's that end of the year time, folks. That's how it works. It's the golden quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody thinks again, that holiday money. Anyway, so there we are, folks, for another week. That's going to wrap this bad boy up. So from Angry Link, it's...
Hasta luego.
From me, I guess I'm out.